What up, y'all? What up? What up? It's your girl, and from Frankie Beverly to Faith Evans, from Anita Baker to Andre Three Stacks, from Maxwell to Megan Thee Stallion, the music has always held the lessons. We just didn't know we were supposed to be taking notes. Welcome to Lyrical Lessons with Leo, and I'm your girl, Leo Rochelle, your lyrical therapist. And this is the show where we dive into old school R&B, Southern hip hop, neo soul, and everything beyond to uncover the emotional and psychological lessons hiding in the lyrics. Because the music's been your therapist all along, baby boo. And now let me help you understand what it's been saying. Let's get into this new episode of Lyrical Lessons with Leo. Okay. So, as I promised that we were going to come back this week with a part 2 to our 8-Ball MJG Space Age Pimpin dissection. Okay, we're going to do our breakdown. It was so much and so good that we had to do a part 2. And before we jump into the part 2, let's recap. We got to do a recap for those that didn't watch the first part, but we're going to do a recap of what made this song so amazing, so dope, and all of that good stuff that because people don't give this song as much credit as it deserves. Okay, so I got my notes. Y'all know when I'm over this way, I'm looking at my notes because I be taking down all kind of notes about everything that I find in all of these songs. But for the recap, let me give you why this song is so amazing and why it's super, super dope. Well, first of all, okay, first, when you first listen to Space Age Pimpin', what you first hear, or what you might first conclude about this song, is that it's just player music, it's luxury talk, all of the pimp talk, and that it's about sex, confidence, pimp culture, and Southern rap bravado. We know about all of that, right? We know when we first heard Space Age Pimpin', it was like, okay, this player shit, this, whatever. But once we really tap in and listen to what the lyrics is telling us, we realize that this song is about quite a few things, very in-depth, very detailed. So, one, this song is about emotional testing because baby girl said, "Would you kill for me?" Yeah, if my life's in danger. 2, would you steal for me? Yeah, if that shit belongs to you. This song is also about vulnerability, being vulnerable, talking to your person, understanding them, and so that they can fully understand you in the way that you need to be understood. Fear of commitment, the desire for honesty, because as we listen to the song, we understand that this man is talking about, hey, I need to know if you're going to be true. I need to know if I could trust you. I need to know who you are and who you're going to be to me. So that's just not, something to glaze over. But it also talked about emotional curiosity and coded love language. So in part 1, we talked about how this song was secretly a love song. And I know y'all were probably like, how was this a love song, Leo? Tell me how. 1, this song was not like the mushy gushy, R&B, soul, neo soul kind of love song that we're used to. So we might not have looked at it as a love song based on the type of genre that it's in, but also based on the music itself. So this song was not just a love song. It wasn't a healed song. It wasn't about mature love. Because that's what a lot of times we look for when we listen to a love song. We're thinking that it is about mature love. We think it's about, that Peebo Bryson, Patti LaBelle, Anita Baker kind of love that we are expecting. But love, real love, is filtered through the ego, the hypermasculinity, and all of those kind of things. And not only that, it is filtered through survival mentality, emotional guardedness, and the fear of vulnerability, because a lot of us fear being vulnerable with our partners. So we broke down the song. We broke down how this song repeatedly returns to themes like communication, exclusivity, and that's probably something you wouldn't have thought about because the title is Space Age Pimpin. But it also talks about trust, loyalty, emotional consistency, and wanting a genuine connection. One of my favorite lines that we broke down was, ask me time and time again, why did I choose you? Do I want to be your man or just misuse you? Listen, them some thoughts. Those are some thoughts. That's a real thought. And it was my favorite simply because how often do people say that those are the thoughts that they may have when they're encountering somebody? It is a good versus evil, up versus down kind of thing. Do I want to be your man, or do I just want to use you as a plaything, as a play toy type of situation? But also outside of that, he talked about communication. He said, keeping it real, let me know how you feel when we communicate. This man wants to know your emotional processes, your thoughts, how you feel about what's being said in the process of you all having a conversation and talking and communing with one another. So that revealed like the depth of all of it. That revealed that a lot of times men do all of this slick talking when it's not even really what they want. They want you to try to read between the lines of the slick talking instead of just being upfront and straight up and honest and vulnerable with you. They try to do all of this slick talking. So, and a lot of times it's really them just craving emotional honesty and transparency. So we unpacked a lot. Okay? A whole lot. So we unpacked emotional avoidance, passive ass communication, because that grinds my gears, and intimacy, and how it requires honesty, not just the attraction. You could be a million times attracted to somebody, fully, openly, honestly attracted to someone, but you have to be honest with yourself and that person about what's actually going to happen here. And the biggest thing is the honesty. A lot of people don't tap into that part. A lot of people don't do the deep dive and really get honest about their desires and what they want and how they want to have access to you or engage in this process with you. A lot of it is like we talked about, the bravado or all of the other kind of things, the slick talking. And a lot of people are just blatant fucking liars. And so that's another part of it, is that we have to figure out, are people just lying? Are people telling the truth? Are people wanting to use us? Do they want to actually be engaged or involved on a serious level with us? But also, we have to use our discernment, pay attention, open your eyes, look at what's happening in these conversations, but also look at what's not happening when you're not having conversations. So there's that. So again, going back to the line, do I want to be your man or just misuse you? That was, to me, one of the most self-aware lyrics in the song. outside of him doing all of the boundary setting and having all of these conversations, that man was really self-aware enough to try to figure out what he wanted from this woman, what he wanted her to be, who he wanted her to be to him, not just who he wanted to be to her or what he wanted them to do, but also who he wanted her to be to him, because that's part of the decision too. So sometimes people just want emotional access to somebody before they're emotionally healthy enough to love them correctly. And we've seen that time and time and time and time again. That shit is boring. And it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's manipulative, because you want access to someone and yet you aren't ready to fully love them in the way that they deserve to be loved or want to be loved. And you also know that you aren't emotionally or mentally prepared to receive the kind of love that they may also be trying to give in return. And instead of saying so or acknowledging your limited capacity, most people continue or try to continue down that path when they know that they aren't ready for that. So we also dug into the tension between the lust and the clarity, attraction and accountability, chemistry and emotional readiness, because those things are on two different ends of the spectrum. Lust and clarity, two totally different sides of the game. Attraction and accountability, two different sides. Chemistry and emotional readiness, because you can have the chemistry and not be emotionally ready for this person or what they have to offer or what they have to bring. So we got to be ready. So one of the other lyrics, well, in the song, he talks about your mouth is saying no, but your body's saying stick me, lick me. Don't be afraid of what your friends say. Rappers get that ass and be out of here like yesterday. I hope I got that right. I'm pulling a lot of these lyrics off the top of my head because why? This is one of my favorite songs. I be trying to make sure I'm not mixing them up. But that's another part of the song where, you know, the conversation is about consent, emotional ambiguity, and how people use physical intimacy to avoid emotional intimacy. And if you did not check out this last episode of PGC After Dark, go check it out, because we talked about that. We talked about being so sexually open and emotionally frozen. So go check that out. All right. So all of that good stuff. And then the deepest and realest, most boundary setting, accountability given section of the song was when he set the boundaries. She said, would you kill for me? Yeah, if my life's in danger too, would you steal for me? Yeah, if that shit belongs to you. Even feel for me. Yeah, if the way you act is true. Because he not finna do none of that if you're not acting true. If you're not showing up and being who you said you was gonna be, baby girl, you might as well pack that shit up and keep it rolling. So instead of glorifying the toxic loyalty, because that's what that is, you want somebody to be loyal to you regardless. So not you just, the young lady really just wanted him to be out here doing shit for the sake of doing shit, and not because it was actually something that belonged to her or a situation occurred where there was something where their life was in danger. And she was also asking him to be emotionally open when she may not have been ready to do that as well herself. So that's toxic loyalty. So we discovered something more in that line, that the song is really about, that the song is constantly negotiating between loyalty and toxicity. It is constantly negotiating integrity, trust, ethics, and emotional investment, and where the love can exist without manipulation. Because if we think about it, there was a lot of manipulation taking place in the song too. The young lady, again, in that one line, in that set of lyrics, she said, "Would you steal for me? Would you kill for me? Even feel for me?" This man was like, "Hold on, hold on, hold on." She was really trying to manipulate him into doing things that she felt or felt that was necessary in order for her to be able to know that he loved her. And if we pay attention to some of the biggest relationships that we see on display most of the time, or even some of the relationships in our current lives, in our friendships or friend groups and all of that, we recognize that a lot of people navigate their situations through manipulation. It is hardly ever where we see true love existing in a healthy and true manner without the manipulation that is taking place on the forefront. Okay. We don't always get to see the depths of people's relationships, but what we have seen on the forefront of most of those things is that manipulation played a part in some shape, form, or fashion. And then one of the biggest takeaways from part one was a lot of emotionally guarded people express love indirectly. They may not say, "I want this from you, I need this from you," or they don't necessarily show you in a way that lets you know that that's what they're showing you. And so the one of the other takeaways is that men raised in environments where vulnerability wasn't safe, they find different ways and tactics to show you that they love you, and that that's how they express their love to you indirectly. They're going to show you, but they may not show you in a way that you're able to fully understand it or read it off top. Okay. So instead of them saying, "I need reassurance, I need reassurance in knowing that you're going to be here, you're going to be present," and all of that, they ask, "Can I trust you?" And instead of them saying, "I'm scared of getting hurt," they test loyalty. You know what I'm saying? They test the loyalty of that person. Instead of saying, "I want emotional intimacy," they hide it within their sexual prowess, their bravado, flexing, emotional performance, doing all of this, doing all of that kind of stuff, when they could simply just say, "Hey, I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that." But that's what makes Space Age Pimpin' like such a fascinating song. Like, psychologically, I like to think this is one of the best songs that I'm probably gonna do as far as the breakdown. Now, there are some great songs out there. We're going to break them down. We're going to talk about them and all of that. They have a lot of layers, just like Space Age Pimpin'. But one of the things that I recognize about this song, not only because it's my favorite, but because I feel as though this song is really one of those that gives people so many layers and so many ways to go about thinking about how we show up in relationships, what they mean to us, and how they can actively help us to become better than we were before. So, beneath all of that player shit, is somebody desperately trying to figure out who's real, who's loyal, who is emotionally safe. Because regardless of what men say when it comes to their emotions, they want someone who is emotionally safe just as much as women do. Men want somebody who can be present without using their emotional vulnerability against them. So, that's the biggest thing for a lot of them. But also, they want to know that it's worth the risk, that you are worth the risk of being emotionally vulnerable for. They need to know. They need to know. So in this one, In this episode, yes, all of that from episode 1. Okay, that's why I said it's so good. It's so good. So now in part 2, we finna tap into the rest of the lyrics, rest of what's to Space Age Pimpin'. And I promise you, I'm not gonna be here long. I promise you, I'm not gonna be long. I only got a couple of lines that I'm gonna go over, and then we up out of this thing. I promise. So I'm pulling up my notes, my other notes for Space Age Pimpin', because I told you last week I was gonna keep going, but I didn't want to go past we was a little bit over an hour, and I didn't want to go past that. So let's find, where did I end up at? I know we talked about dang, I had a lot of notes for this song. Okay, so we ended on the just me and you part, where, you know, we talked about him focusing in on the intimacy of the relationship, zoning in and talking about exclusivity, talking about them being on the same accord, them being on the same page, them just vibing and being together, just them two, not anybody else. And that was the part where we recognized that this song was no longer about pimp shit. This song was about somebody I want to be able to call my own and be able to do these things with. And it's just me and you, baby. It's just me and you. That's it. So the next line, the next one, ride till we get to where you want to be, no matter how far. Just call me ball, baby. To me, you're the superstar. All right, so y'all like how I know these lyrics, don't it? Y'all love it. So this line is really about, it's not even about like a literal ride. This is about like togetherness, the connection, all of that kind of stuff. He's talking about like the willingness to be present, the effort, all of those kind of things. So if we look at the lyrics, it say ride till we get to where you want to be, no matter how far. Okay, so staying present for the journey, for the trip, for the ride. You gonna go along with me for the ride or not? So this particular set of lyrics really is one of those that you like, okay, you do have to kind of look at it and say, which one is he talking about? Is he talking about a literal ride, or is he talking about something other than a literal ride? And as we can see, he's talking about something other than a literal ride. He's not talking about getting in the car and going somewhere. He's talking about, are you gonna go with me along the journey? And that's the part of the song that gives more partnership energy, just like saying that me and you, just me and you. When they keep saying that, that's about being exclusive, being together, and all of that kind of stuff. So in this part, he is literally saying, I want you to be able to go with me. I'll take you where you want to go. It don't matter. We gonna stay in motion. I'm gonna stay in motion if you stay in motion. We gonna stay in motion together. We gonna get to where we need to go. We gonna be able to do whatever we need to do. And that's why I even said the other part, call me ball, baby. To me, you're the superstar. He's literally saying like, hey, it's just me. I'm me and you the star. You're the one that gets to choose how far we get to go. You're the one that gets to choose how long this journey is gonna go and how long we gonna go for this ride. Okay. So that again is not lust. We looked at this song when we were young and really thought it was about pimping. It's not. This song is about attachment. It's about investment. It's about support. And it matters because healthy love is not just about who wants you when things are fun, when things are good, when things are happy, all of that. This song is about, like, let's ride out. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, let's ride out. And if you can ride with me, then let's do it. Let's go. So they're talking about a healthy love, a beautiful love, where one is willing to travel the distance. Even when the shit is not right away, when you don't get to necessarily see how far you're going to go, or you don't get to see where the destination is, that you're willing to go along the ride for the joy of it, for the beauty of it, for the plot. Let's do this shit for the plot, baby. I'm trying to do some shit for the plot for the summer, side note. But anywho, the mental theme for this part of our song, y'all ever did something for the plot? So this part is talking about, the mental theme is partnership versus transactional connections. There are so many transactional connections that happen on a consistent, regular basis these days that we do have to pay attention. We have to pay attention. We have to look at what's happening on a regular basis. So, preventing toxic outcomes, because that's what we're going to always do. We're going to try to make sure we prevent that toxicity from happening. Do not confuse someone enjoying your presence with someone being willing to support your journey. God damn, that's good, ain't it? Woo! Do not confuse someone enjoying your presence with someone being willing to support your journey. Because there are so many people who will enjoy the access that you give to them of who you are and all of those beautiful things. But those will probably be the same people who will not be there when you got shit going on, when the shit hits the fan, when you out here lonely, sad, or not in the best of places and not yourself. These ain't the people. Some people are not going to be there. And you have to be sure that the people that you riding with, they riding with you too. You know what I'm saying? The people that's riding with you, not back there putting holes in your tires. We got to make sure that we riding and we got people that's riding with us. So, real partnership requires effort, patience, and emotional consistency. Anybody can show up for pleasure. Not everybody can show up for process. God damn. Listen. Ain't that how they do it? Or is it this? I don't know. Either way, clock it. That's all I can say. So the reflective question: does this person only enjoy you in pleasurable moments? Or do they genuinely journey through life with you? Do they just want the good parts of you? Do they just want the pleasure and not the pain? Do they just want to understand how good they can sex you and all of that kind of stuff? And then when you down and out, they not around? That's not a person that you want to be around. And that's not a person you want to journey through things with. That is somebody who is just here for the fun. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, but it's something totally different. So the next lyric: tell me things about you and I'll tell you things about me. This is where they start getting into the communication of things. Let's talk. Let's learn. I want to learn about you. Tell me things about you that I do not know. Tell me things about you that is important. Tell me what I need to know about you that's going to help me get closer to you. Okay? Because now we're not just talking about sex, we are talking about the connection. We talking about status. We talking about emotional exchange. Okay. And some people don't even do that these days. They want to get straight to the hunching and then going on about their business. But that emotional exchange is the benefit. Yeah, you can hunch on somebody. But when you have that emotional and verbal exchange, now you got a whole deeper level that's going to assist you with being able to make that physical even more explosive and even more uh, intense and exciting, and it's going to be pleasurable that way. So this is where he shows his openness and curiosity for who this woman is. What you want out of life? Who are you? Tell me more about you, so I can tell you more about me too. Because I don't want to be alone in this. I want to know about you. I want you to know about me, because that way we can make this thing do what it do. And not only that, that's where reciprocity comes into place. That is what's called reciprocal vulnerability. Not only am I being vulnerable, but you're being vulnerable too. And it doesn't vulnerability does not necessarily mean telling the depths of your soul. Vulnerability could be just letting someone in. Vulnerability could be just giving someone the access to be able to have these conversations or say the things in this way. Tell me things about you and I'll tell you things about me. So that's where intimacy itself begins, and being vulnerable enough to open up and start the conversation, start the ball to rolling in that way. Because if you're not getting the ball rolling, then what are we even doing? We're not gonna get the ball rolling just by sitting here looking at each other. So we might as well have some conversation and tap in, especially if someone is guarded. They are not gonna give you the keys to the kingdom just because you're interested. So what? But what are you going to do to help me to understand even further what you're interested in and all of those kind of things? This man is literally saying, let me learn you and I will let you learn me. Do you know how valuable that kind of thing is? And I'm going to say not just from a man, but a black man. Vulnerability a lot of times is something that is so hard for black men to tap into and to move into, that because this is what he's doing, is giving her the opportunity to fully understand this man wants to let his guard down. He wants to be open. He wants to be seen. He wants to be heard and understood. But I also want to know that you're going to be vulnerable enough to meet me halfway or to do the same thing that I'm doing. That's what he's saying. That matters because a lot of relationships these days are shallow. They stay on the top layer because I don't want you to know too much about me, and I don't want you to know so much about me that you get to use it against me. You get to fuck with my people and all of that kind of stuff. So this is he's asking. This is what I feel. This is what I feel. I feel as though he is asking her to tell me about your fears, your dreams, your wounds, your emotional needs, and your physical needs, your mental needs. Help me to understand you so that we can be in this thing in a partnership, not just somebody I'm trying to fuck on. Even though we gonna fuck, I just don't want to only fuck on you. I want to fuck on you and know you and help you grow and build you and build with you. And so you can help me do the same. I think that's what this is talking about. So this is pushing past just the surface level stuff. This is pushing past surface level. This is pushing to the point where this is real life intimacy at play. This is real intimacy happening. This is the real intimacy coming in and saying, hey, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is how I want to show up. And this is how I want you to show up for me as well. So the mental theme is emotional curiosity versus surface level connection and preventing toxic outcomes. Do not let chemistry replace curiosity. Keep learning. how someone thinks, what shaped them, what they fear, what they need, what makes them feel safe. Those are the makings of real intimacy. That is the makings of deeper connection, not just surface level. And then relationships become shallow when people stop being curious. I always say, if you're not curious about me, you don't like me. You don't like me if you don't ask questions. You don't like me if you don't tap into my thoughts and goals and dreams and all of those kind of things, because I am going to do that with you. But if you don't do it with me, that shows that you're not curious, that you're not fully interested, and you're not even really willing to be invested in me as a person. So, the reflective question: does your relationships do your relationships create space for emotional discovery or just physical access? Are we discovering each other in a way that helps us to expand how we show up, how we feel, what we think? Or is it just we're just present to get our hunch on and going on about our business? Which one is it? Are we creating relationships that give us both? Are we creating relationships that give us room to be healthy in our mindset, healthy in how we show up, how we let down our guards? Are they allowing us to be fully safe, heard, understood, and all of those kind of things? Because if not, then it's just a physical connection or a physical transaction. And again, going back to things being transactional, it's a crazy space to be in when that's the only thing that you're getting from that person is the transactional kind of things. And transactional can't just be physical. That's it. So, I told y'all this song was so good and deep. I love it. Okay. Next lyric. Because this is one of those lyrics where it's juicy, and then it's like, oh, this nice. Ain't no roaches in here or nothing. Okay. The mood is perfected by the sounds from the storm. That man over there in it. He in it. He listening to the storm. Y'all got this mood going. This intimacy. These grown-ass men was talking about intimacy, and they tried to layer it in with a little pimp talk. They talking about the setting. It's a storm outside happening, but the mood just got even more better because of the storm, because we get to sit here and be with each other and fully get into this groove of going back, telling me things about you, and I'm telling you things about me. Because now this mood is perfected from the sounds of the storm. We over here grooving. We in it. We loving on this conversation. We loving on each other. The environment matters. The mood matters. Everything that's happening matters in how we're showing up in this space. How this conversation is going to take place. Because I don't know about y'all, but if it's storming outside on a nice summer night and you got your windows open and you chilling and got music playing, that is not the space for a lack of intimacy. Especially if it's somebody that you fucking with regularly and that you really, really like, and y'all in that getting to know you phase and space with each other. It is something next level when you're able to have that happening, that whole concoction of nature and music and energy being exchanged. That's a whole different level. And it's not talking about sex. He said the mood is perfected from the sounds of the storm. He's talking about, oh, this is getting better and better and better because of the storm. We're able to get here and have this conversation and get close and get cozy and cuddle up and all of that kind of stuff. That's what they're talking about. They are literally in their emotional bag as grown men, and they talking about creating these worlds together that matter. We trying to bring your world and my world together. That's what we doing. That's how you write a motherfucking love song, if y'all didn't know. But there is also a little caution to take in this space, because although a beautiful moment can be powerful, the question is does the connection still hold when the storm is over? Are we still going to be this fully enthralled and engaged when the storm is over, or not? Are we still going to put forth the effort to create these spaces of intimacy and connection when the storm is over, or not? Is it just because the storm is here that we are in a mood? Because we all know how we get in a mood when it's storming outside, because it makes you want to cuddle and get close and all of that. So are we still going to be in this space once the storm is over, or what? But sometimes that's what you call emotional escapism. It can feel like love, but it gives us a break from reality. So you probably, even though you might really be in that space with that person and it can go on beyond the storm, sometimes it could be that, we just escaping from reality and the storm added to this mood at the moment. It could be a moment and not, a full-on transitional phase into something more, if that makes sense. So the mental theme is romantic escape versus emotional reality. Preventing toxic outcomes. Enjoy the moment, but do not disappear inside of fantasy. Don't let that little mood get your ass out here. You be out here fucked up. That's what it's saying. Don't let the mood have you out here fucked up. Okay? Healthy love should exist outside of the atmosphere, outside of the mood, outside of the late night setup. Okay? If the relationship only works in a certain setting, it may be more of an escape than intimacy. So if you're only able to be inside of the house, in the bed, cuddled up, and y'all don't have shit else outside of being in the house, in the bed, cuddled up, that is just a moment. Excuse me. That's an escape. That is not the intimacy that you think it is. Okay. So the reflective question is, do you love who this person truly is, or do you love the emotional escape that they provide? It's a difference, okay? And then, I think this is our last one. This is our last set. I think I lied. No, we got one more. Okay. So, this man said, you came stronger. I lasted longer than I've ever lasted. Your mouth was fantastic. The fuck test, you passed it. It's more, but that's where I'm gonna stop. So that we know is sexual. That we know is about getting your hunch on. That man said, I lasted longer than I've ever lasted. Okay. So let's talk about it. It's not just about sexual. It's not just about the impact of it sexually. It's about the impact overall, psychologically. It's about the impact because he acknowledged how amazing this shit felt because of that woman, because of her. Not just because of the mood, not just because of none of that. He acknowledged, baby girl, that little thing got some power, okay? So the connection, the intimacy, everything that they were building and that they talked about throughout this whole song literally shifted something within him as a man. So the physical can sometimes align with the mental and emotional. So the mental, physical, and emotional combination, when it is good and juicy and amazing, is going to be very impactful sexually. Okay. So that's what he did. But for emotionally guarded people, sex can become the place where they express what they cannot say out loud to themselves or to you either. So, have you ever been in that moment and and somebody say I love you? You ever been in one of them moments? It was because in that moment, and while we're having sex, our guards are down, our mental guardrails are off. So you can say a lot of things during sex that you might not say out loud, just chilling on the couch with each other, or just, you know, passing by each other or in day-to-day conversation. So that is part of why this song feels a little more complicated, because the sexual language is not empty. It's not just saying, oh, we had sex and it was good and this, that, and the third, or whatever. The way that they are expressing the things that are happening in this connection or exchange is layered so deeply, because not only are we having this good ass conversation and talking, and we learning things about you and you learning things about me. We done had sex. I done lasted longer than I've ever lasted. Okay, your mouth was fantastic. The fuck test, you passed it. The way you made a nigga last, I had to get you. That man said, hey, you got to be mad. On top of all of that shit, then you up here and made my toes curl and peel my muffin cap back blue during that coitus. Baby girl, come on over here. Go on and sign this little contract. Go on and sign right here, baby girl. That's what he's saying. You did something to me. You reached a part of me. You affected me differently than anybody else ever has. And that does not automatically make the relationship healthy, but it does make it emotionally significant. That man will never forget her. He will never forget how she showed up, how she did him, how she treated her. I mean, how he treated her. She treated him. My bad. I'm sorry. So it does make the overall relationship significant as fuck. All right. So the mental thing, physical intimacy as physical intimacy as emotional expression. So the physical intimacy is helping to express the emotions, because you cannot have one without the other, sometimes for people that are very guarded. So they can only say what they need to say through their emotions when something is happening physically. Most of the time it's going to be sex. So preventing toxic outcomes. Physical connection should deepen emotional honesty, not replace it, okay? Because sex can create attachments quickly, especially when vulnerability is already present. So that's how people fall and end up rolling in the deep, like Adele said, is because you're already vulnerable. You're already in a vulnerable state, and it makes it easier for you to fall deeper and the connection to be more impactful, especially when you add that layer of sex, which is also why a lot of times we say, if you take sex off the table, you'll be able to see what you really can build with somebody. Okay. So make sure your emotional connection is real and not just intensified by the body or what can happen within that space and time. Okay. My voice been doing a little something. So that's why y'all see me sipping today. Sipping a little tea that I made. So make sure the emotional connection is real and not just intensified by the body. And the reflective question is, has physical intimacy ever made you feel emotionally connected to someone who was not emotionally available? I'm sure it has. It's happened to me. And I'm up here thinking about it. No, I'm just playing. But it has happened to me before. So, listen. Space Age Pimpin is that motherfucking GOAT. I don't care what y'all tell me. I don't care what other songs y'all bring to me. And you can challenge me. Feel free to challenge me to deep dive into some of these other songs that would be just as layered and as deep and as psychologically expressive as Space Age Pimpin. This is a complicated love song disguised as player music, pimp anthems, that kind of thing. But underneath all of that, this song is asking, can I trust you? Can we communicate? Honestly, are you true? Do your actions match your words? Can I emotionally invest in you? Can we be just me and you? Can love exist with boundaries and integrity? Because remember, she was asking them to steal and kill and all of that kind of stuff, and even fall in love without the rest of the stuff, without the rest of the integrity being present. So this whole song is layered with love language. It is just armored love language. So it's layered and it's guarded, but it's still love language nonetheless. So that's why this song hits different. And I love it because it is not the normal love song. It is not what people think a love song should sound like, but also thinking about who 8Ball and MJG are, and the conversations that they have in other songs and what they talk about. Most people overlook this possibly being a love song at all. So the way we deep dive into this, I hope you all see differently. I would love to hear your comments, commentary, and all of that kind of stuff on my breakdown, and maybe even get you all to come on here so we can do a conversational breakdown of some songs as well. But the real lesson in this is love is not always expressed in the language that we expect, because if that was the case, we would see it coming a mile away. Okay, it's not always what we expect. Sometimes it's guarded, sometimes the person is guarded, sometimes the person has been through so many things that how they show up in that space may be totally different than what's expected, but they are giving you nuggets or and tidbits of who they are in order to show you that they are trying to not be as guarded. Okay, so sometimes love sounds cocky because the person does not know how to be vulnerable. It doesn't mean that they don't want to be, it just means that they don't know how to be. And then sometimes it's sexual because that is the safest way they know how to express their closeness. But it still requires, love still requires accountability, because chemistry without clarity is confusion. Chemistry without clarity is confusion. And I need y'all to remember that. Chemistry without clarity is confusion. Yeah. Take that however you need to take it, okay? And loyalty without boundaries becomes enabling. Desire without emotional readiness becomes misuse. And then intimacy without honesty becomes damage. So ask yourself this. Are you loving people clearly, or are you hiding behind performance? Are you hiding behind performance, pride, and emotional ambiguity? Because real connection starts where you take off the mask, where the mask ends. Okay. So this is my reflection for you as we end this episode of Lyrical Lessons with Leo. Ask yourself this after listening to this episode and the previous one. Where in my relationships have I confused intimacy with intensity, or intensity with intimacy? Where have I accepted coded affection instead of clear emotional honesty? Do I allow people to love me and have truths because I understand where their guardedness comes from? And most importantly, am I building relationships where love, boundaries, honesty, and integrity can all exist at the same time? Because if you're not, baby, it's somewhere in there going to end up being a little toxic. And what we be doing? Trying to prevent toxic outcomes. So ask yourself those questions, especially that last one. Am I building relationships where love, boundaries, honesty, and integrity can all exist at the same damn time. So make sure you ask yourself those things and those questions. And then come back and let me know what you think, what you feel, and if any of those questions resonated with you in such a way that you really have to reevaluate how you show up in your relationships, or what's been happening in those connections and in those relationships across the board. That way you can truly say, this wasn't for me, this is for me, or whatever the case may be, that you're able to truly show up in your relationships and have healthier relationships across the board. These questions weren't just for you, they were for me too, to help me to know if I'm showing up in my relationships the best way that I can, the best way that I know how, and so that I'm receiving or have reciprocal energy going out and the same kind of energy coming in. Don't be out here pouring from an empty cup just for the sake of pouring from an empty cup. Take it from 8Ball MJG, okay? That we got to have some reciprocity happen, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lyrical Lessons with Leo. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, The Fat Girl Chronicles, PGC After Dark, Lyrical Lessons with Leo. We got our new show, PGC Plugged In, that just popped out, and the first episode came out last week on Thursday. And our special guest was Brianna Warner. So make sure y'all tap into that. We talk about life outside of diet culture. Brianna is a weight loss coach, and so we deep dive into her background and all of that good stuff. But check it out. And then next week, our conversation is about Pause by none other than Miss Jill Scott. We're going to do a breakdown of her lyrics, because this song is not one that is a very long one. It is actually an interlude on her album. And the interlude is so good and amazing that it is worth a breakdown from yours truly, your favorite lyrical therapist, Leo Rochelle. We getting ready to get up out of this thing, y'all. And I hope that whatever you do, you are able to deep dive, take a pause, and get into your thing. All right, get into it like you need to do it. But I appreciate y'all for showing up, popping out, and being right here with your girl, Leo Rochelle, once again on Lyrical Lessons with Leo, where the lyrics get loud and real. Have an amazing one, y'all, and take care of yourself and each other. And once again, your girl is what? I'm out. Enjoy. Have an amazing one, y'all. Peace.